Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jenny Dildine, the LDS Mission Coach, and you are listening to the LDS Mission Podcast, episode number 128, When Do I Know Enough? I'm Jenny, the LDS Mission Coach, and whether you are preparing to serve a mission, currently serving, a returned missionary, or a missionary mama like me, I created this podcast just for you. Are you searching for epic confidence, ready to love yourself and to learn the how of doing hard things? Then let's go. I will help you step powerfully into your potential and never question your purpose again. It's time to embrace yourself, embrace your mission, embrace your life, and embrace what's next. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited that you're here with me. Feels like I have a little bit of a frog in my throat today. I've been sort of emotionally and physically drained the last little bit, pretty much since Thanksgiving. But hey, I'm here. I'm showing up for you guys. I want to be able to chat with you today. And can I just say how grateful I am that you're here? This work of reaching missionaries and helping missionaries prepare for their missions and really helping in that transition home is really, really valuable work to be doing. And you're listening, so that means you're a part of this work too. The more people that kind of know about these tools and about how to sort of manage your mind and feel your feelings and know that it's all okay, the more people that know that, the better the mission experience, I think, will be for many of our missionaries. The easier it'll be to transition home and kind of have your own back and not judge yourself in your transition home. And so thank you for being here. I would appreciate it, of course, if you would share, especially if you have been listening for a while and you like what you hear here. I was thinking today that one of the biggest gifts that you could give me, and not that you have to give me a gift, but I really would love it if you could share the podcast with somebody. I've had emails that just say the podcast alone has changed my entire mission. And that is such amazing work to be involved in. And I'm just grateful you're here. And so if you feel so inclined and if you want to, it helps so much to get the word out about the podcast if you share it with someone. Also, if you write a review or rate the podcast, it just really would be a huge gift to me, because you guys, truly what I'm passionate about is helping these kids. And I've had people tell me like it's pointless or it doesn't matter or whatever. And I'm like, no, it matters. And I'm here and I'm going to be here and I'm going to keep being here and I'm going to keep recording podcasts for you because I care about this and I care about you. And so even if I have a frog in my throat and I sound a little bit hoarse, here we are. And so thanks so much for being here. Today, I want to talk about when do I know enough? Oh, but before we dive into that, what is today? December 1st, I think, you guys, when this podcast airs. And so here we are, December. Let's go. Anyway, and I should tell you about all of the free things you can get from me, but I think it's in the outro of the podcast. And I should tell you about all the ways that we support missionaries, you know, with one-on-one coaching, and we have like an MTC-like experience, all for being able to prepare your mental and emotional well-being for the mission, because it can be rough out there. But you can find all of that on my website, and you can also find many free things in the show notes to this podcast. So let's just, instead of talking about all of that, let's just dive into what I wanted to share with you today. And it comes from actually an email that I got from someone who is getting ready to leave on their mission. And I do have one of my free things that I offer on my website and in the show notes of this podcast. I think this person had clicked on getting a free training, I'm pretty sure is what it was. And then you get an email and the email says, hey, you know, let me know what your main worry is about for the mission and what is kind of keeping you stuck or where are you at. So just let me know and respond to this email. And so I got a response from this person, and this person said, I think my number one problem that has been affecting my preparation is the recurring thought that I don't understand the gospel enough to teach someone. And so that's where I came up with this idea of this podcast episode, which is, when do I know enough. Now, it's interesting that this person, probably before she's even like studied my work or any of the work that you and I do here together, that she notices that this is a recurring thought, right? And so this thought, remember we teach that sentences in our minds, which are our thoughts, that creates our feelings, which is a vibration in your body. This thought, when you think it, and we could all just sort of think it right now, I don't understand the gospel enough to teach it to someone else. When we think that thought, we're going to have some feelings that come up, right? It's like point A connects in our brain, point A connects to point B, and we're going to create feelings of insecurity, maybe nervousness, some embarrassment, maybe some guilt associated with this thought. And so we have two options when we notice that we have this thought. I don't know enough to serve a mission, or I don't know enough to apply for that job, or I don't know enough to jump into that major, or whatever it could be, or I don't know enough to maybe apply for that promotion at work or whatever. We kind of have two options when we think we don't know enough. And what I think she's talking about, right, is sort of this book smarts. Like, I have to know the gospel. I've had other emails from people that say, I don't have the scriptures memorized. I'm afraid to even share scripture stories because I'm afraid I'm going to get them wrong. Okay. So I want to talk about two things that we can do in this scenario when we feel like we don't know enough. Now, the first thing I think we should acknowledge is whenever our brain offers us, I'm not enough blank, then we just know that's just our lower brain. It is trying to avoid pain. It's trying to conserve energy because when we think we don't know enough, it tends to shut us down. You can even see, like this person said, it's affecting my preparation, this thought. And this is just her brain trying to shut her down. So totally fine. Nothing wrong with thinking this thought. Part of being a human on this planet is that we're going to think we don't know enough. We're going to think we're not good enough. We're going to think we're falling short in some way all of the time. That's just part of the human condition. But let's talk about some things maybe we can do. So the first thing that we can do is we can be okay with not knowing. Okay, that's one of the first things that we can do. It's sort of like we add this parenthesis at the end of I don't know enough, or I don't understand the gospel enough, and that's okay. So the tricky thing, right, is when we have to be okay with not knowing, that creates some more uncertainty. And our brains hate uncertainty. So if we're just like, okay, I guess I don't know how that's going to work, then our brains are like, that's a terrible idea. We need to know everything. We need to know everything ahead of time. We need to have a plan, right? So your brain won't like it if you're just like, I guess I don't know enough. Okay? Your brain won't like it, but open up to that. Listen, I was thinking about this today. The more comfortable that we can get with uncertainty, the more success you will have not only on your mission, but in your life. Okay, our brain craves certainty, and so it's going to fight against anything that's uncertain. But the more we can just be like, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I hope it works out. I hope I know enough, but maybe I don't. I don't know. Okay, the more comfortable we can get with that, the more successful you will be, because you will be willing to feel uncertain. So in just a minute, I'm going to talk about something kind of opposite that will feel opposite to us. And I'm going to talk about the second option of what we can do with this thought. But for now, let's just think about this idea. It's okay to be uncertain. And any sort of like certainty that our brain offers us is not always actually certain. Our brain just offers it to us so that we can feel safe, so that we can feel comfortable moving forward. But most things actually are uncertain. Like, how would we even know that you understood the gospel enough? How would we know that? Like, there's no blood test. Even if we were sitting in a lesson and someone didn't know the answer to something, we could be with the most like scholarly, certain person that knows the scriptures inside and out, and maybe a person who you're teaching a lesson to wouldn't They'd have a question and that person, the scholarly person, wouldn't have the answer. So there's no way to know if we know enough. It's just interesting because our brain kind of tells us that if we had all the scriptures memorized, then I could feel confident. Or if I knew my girlfriend back home, maybe you're on a mission, my girlfriend back home, if I knew that we were meant to be together and that she was going to wait for me, if she was going to be there when I get home, then I would feel better. I'd feel more confident. Or I've heard this one too, like if I just did more language study, or if I'd gone on more splits with the missionaries, then I could feel confident. But those things don't make you confident, you guys. And we don't actually know. Like even if we had done more language study or gone on splits with the missionaries, would we feel confident? My guess is probably not. Because our brain is always going to be like, we don't know enough. We're not good enough. Blah, blah, blah. It's just the way the brain works, okay? So option 1 with this thought is be okay with not knowing. Be okay with the certainty. Get really comfortable with uncertainty. The second thing we can do about this, I might not know enough, is we can focus instead of what we don't know or what we don't understand, we focus on what we do know. This is just like a simple redirect for our brain. So the saying kind of comes to mind, like what you don't know can't hurt you. Unless, of course, you judge yourself for not knowing. So instead of focus on what you don't know, let's just focus on what you do know. It might be, I know myself. And I'm not talking about book smarts here. I'm talking about maybe you know yourself. Maybe you have a thought like, I know that I'm going to do what I can. I know that I'm willing to feel uncertain. I know I'm not going to give up. So I actually have had this experience a couple times where the work that I'm trying to do with missionaries, people are like, oh, who do you think you are? You're just a stay-at-home mom. How can you even help? Who do you think you are to like teach this or help them or whatever, right? And one of the things that I know that I decided, and I actually, you guys have it written on a piece of paper right above my desk on a white piece of paper in big black letters, I know people. And the know actually coincidentally, or incidentally, I don't know which, is a heart. The O in know is a heart. So if I don't know some scripture or some historical whatever stats of whatever it is, if I don't know some scripture story or who said what I do know 100% is I know people. I know that I care about people. I know my heart. I know myself. So that's what I mean by focus on what you do know. Not, oh, I know this scripture story or I know this part of the gospel. Focus on what you know about you. You have some gifts and some abilities that people on your mission are going to need. And sometimes they're going to need not the person that knows the black and white scripture story and the whatever it is. They're going to need you. They're going to need you. The fact that you know people, that you know your heart, that you know yourself, that you know that you're willing to sit in uncertainty about all the rest of it. And you know what that does actually, as I'm thinking about it, is it gives other people permission to be like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm not super certain. And it's okay. I'm going to just feel uncertain about what I know. Those are the two options. Either be okay with not knowing or focus on what you do know about you, about yourself. Because here's the truth. Will we ever know enough to serve a mission? I don't know. And then the other really amazing truth is, do you know enough? Yes, absolutely. Right now, today. Will you ever know enough to get married or to be a father or a mother? No, because you've never done it before. But do you know enough? Yes, you know enough right now. Be okay with not knowing. Option 1, I don't know if I'm ready to serve a mission. I don't know if I know the gospel well enough. I don't know or understand the gospel enough to teach someone, and that's okay. I'm still willing to go. But what I do know is I have heart. I have the best intentions. I know that I'm willing to go and do it. I know people. And that, you guys, is the best combination of both option 1 and option 2. Is we decide on purpose what we want to believe, what we do know, and we also introduce the uncertainty. So it sounds a little bit like this. I know for certain in the future, I am going to have the most amazing mission, but I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how my companions are going to be. I don't know if I'm going to screw up a lesson. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do know that in the end, because I'm me, and because I'm willing, it's going to be the most amazing mission. So this is a combination of both. Do you see? It's what I know for sure is going to happen in the future. I've already decided, and I don't know how to get there. I don't know what it's going to look like getting there. So this one, it seems counterintuitive, right? It's like we introduce the certainty with I'm for sure going to make this the most amazing mission. But then we also balance it with sort of this uncertainty. But I don't know what it's going to look like. And that's okay. Here's another example. Maybe you're just thinking to yourself, my daughter-in-law, she's finishing nursing school and she's applied for a couple jobs, and she does have a job now that she's going to start after she graduates. But before that, she didn't know how she was going to get there, but she had the ability to just decide, when I'm done with school, I am going to have the most amazing opportunities, because that's who I am. I create amazing opportunities. I know that I'm going to have the most amazing opportunities. We decide what we do know, but I also don't know how. And I also don't know what that's going to look like. I'm open. I'm open to whatever it looks like. There's a little bit of uncertainty. Okay? Maybe it sounds like this. I already know, I've already decided that I'm going to marry the most amazing human. I know I'm going to have an amazing marriage with an amazing human. But I also don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know what that process is going to look like. And that's okay. Interestingly, you guys, this is what faith is, right? It's a belief in what's possible in our future, but not knowing exactly the how of how it's all going to work out or what those exact steps are going to be. We basically can sort of put like something out there in the future that we have already decided is just a done deal, but be open to the ways and the paths that are going to lead you there. We're like, I don't really know, but I'm going to take this step. I don't really know, but I'm going to take this next step. So open yourself up to possibility, to certainty, and be okay with not knowing. Decide on purpose what you want to have happen in the future, but be open to the ways and the paths that you're going to get there. So this podcast title is a question. When do I know enough? The answer to the question, it really does seem contradictory, because maybe it is. When will you know enough to get that job, or to get married, or to have babies, or to serve a mission, or to excel on your mission, or get your dream job? Whatever it is, when will you know enough? You won't, like ever. You won't know enough. And you know enough right now. Okay? It's both. So create that certainty when you want it. The certainty in yourself, in what you know, in who you are, and then get super comfortable with the uncertain parts. None of us know what this journey is going to look like for you. The only way you'll know is once you've been through it. Okay? So it's both. You don't have to know, and you already know enough. Everyone, have the most amazing week. I hope you have a magical December. Talk to you again soon. Serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can present a unique set of challenges. And many of those challenges you might not even see coming. So you're going to want a unique set of solutions. It's easier than you think to overcome worry and anxiety, serve the successful mission you've always dreamed of, and navigate your post-mission experience with confidence. That is why I created some amazing free goodies that I'm sharing in my show notes. Maybe you'll want to grab the free training for preparing missionaries, my video course for RMs, or maybe you and I should hop on a free strategy call. If you're ready to take your preparedness to serve or your preparedness to come home to the next level, then go grab one of those freebies. And in the meantime, no matter which part of the mission experience you are involved in, just know that Jenny, the LDS mission coach, is thinking about you every single day.